Welcome to another mega exciting 5-minute automate. So Bochkarev, Dmitry Bochkarev. I'll play sensibly for a change. I hope. Don't want to release the tension either with I should have maybe tried to get his bishop with 19h4. I just realised I don't think this is anything for white. If I tried to get his bishop like the GMs do, I might have had something. Maybe, but this way I've got nothing. If the exchange, okay, have I got nothing? He's played 8. He's committed to h6 though, which means there is something I'm thinking about this, that if he exchanges and I play for e4, you see, yeah, that's why he's left. That's looking a little bit controversial, that structure. I'm wondering if he didn't like e4 from white, but isn't this structure a little bit diced? Doesn't seem that bad for me here. And he's sort of rippled some dark square weaknesses there. Maybe knight c5 to try and open up against the dark squares. Even there's a pawn sack here, it starts to be nearly interesting. With this, might be better to try and win d5 after. So open up this diagonal and try and win d5 on takes. And this has got f4 tactically. Maybe that's his point. Can I try and stop the attack with maybe e takes or knight e5? Maybe knight e5 just to take the sting out of things. There's a pawn sack. No, knight c5. b4 for knight c5. Or knight e5. Yeah, I think b4 is interesting. I have this idea that if he takes, I can play knight e5 and sort of lock down, I hope, his dynamic potential. Well, I could be just throwing away a pawn for no apparent reason. That's the other perspective on b4. Can I use the F file? Oh, it's going for some sort of attack. Is knight e5 here any good? No, what about just trying to use this F file? Or exchange off his knight? Would that be too sensible? Somehow I've not given myself an active position. This looks as though I'm tied down to this backward pawn here. I have that funny backward pawn feeling about this. When I take on a6 out of interest, a6 was just hanging just then. That's interesting, because then there's queen b5 off. Well, a6 was just hanging. Okay, e3 might have been an issue anyway. Maybe he was threatening knight g5. He's clearly wanting to hack me to death over here, it seems, with this trebling. Maybe he thinks about a6 now. The idea of b5, knight c5 might not be that bad, because I might actually get that diagonal as mentioned before. So if I took on a6, is that crazy? I think taking improves his position.
Check.
Oh, he just goes for queen h4. If I take it, then there's queen e2. There's bishop, rook e3, bishop e3, rook e3, queen g2. Queen f2, what about queen f2 there? So queen h4, queen e2, rook e3, bishop e3, rook e3, queen f2. Queen h4, queen e2, rook e3. Okay. I think I need to... why does he want the knight involved? It takes bishop h2. Alright, let's just get this queen back and advance to g2 or something. If I took there, there's... if we have simplification, I can take on b6 after. No, I can't take on b6. Well, I can if the rook was leaving b6. d5. Oh, knight g5 threatens knight h3. My threatening takes, rook e1 takes. Yeah, I don't want to play it. Well, there's knight d5 here on bishop e3. Knight d5 here. The check.
Check.
There's queen g6 here. King f8. There's f7.
Check.
Or at least his resign. I'm fist. Oh man. This is not the way to play for any advantage, surely, for me. Isn't there a method of knight h4? Mind you, the engine's not mentioning that. Oh, is it when e6 is played? No, maybe it's when e6 is played. But he plays this, he doesn't play e6, that's the thing. I'll tell you what I think is the nuance here. He didn't want to do this. This is amazing, it's like he's reading my brain here. On a tiny aspect of the position, which... Or maybe it's just better, because he's weakened these light squares, and I'm thinking... I'll play for e4, but it's not going to remove castling rights either. So what he did maybe is the best. It's a strange position to allow, isn't it? Mind you, he gets the grip on e4. There is the backward pawn, and he actually made that even, well, potentially backward pawn, which makes even more backward later. I think he could have just... can he not just take... Mind you, I can take here. It's not that bad. My idea was actually not that. It was this. But yeah, coming to think about it, e-takes is actually a weakness of the last move here. But even this is better for black. Yeah, I think I've gone wrong here with b4. Let's see, taking. Aha, this is good stuff. What does he do here? Does he try and win a pawn here? I'd take here. Oh, there is a tactic. There's no knight e6 because of queen h8.
Checkmate.
So how did that go? That's the sort of thing I wanted to exploit, not be on the receiving end of some major attack. So that gets rid of any theoretical backward pawn. Okay, it isolates that, but it's a lesser evil decision. Then rook c2, just play knight c5, just to really emphasize these dark squares. Yeah, a6 apparently is yeah, maybe so. Knight e5 here. This is the sort of idea I had as well defensively. If I could just sack a pawn to try and neutralize stuff. Here it is. That's interesting. Apparently it's equal. If here there's a mate in 7, like that, or like this. Apparently I'm being mated. It looks as though I should be getting mated. Okay, so yeah, it's he's essentially got gigantic coordination, backward pawn. I've got totally passive position. It looks as though I'm on the receiving end. Now, why didn't he go for this? Right, for this, Queen f2, but black is better. No, equal. No, black. You should have done that. That's what I was saying. Bishop f4 is given as the strongest. Yeah. Black's better. So even this though, black's slightly better in this continuation. So trying to drag the queen away from h2, yeah. So if it takes queen h2, so that's the point I was looking at. So, and I thought this was okay, but yeah, apparently black's is actually, yeah. Okay, so knight f6, and all of a sudden he's kind of left d5 behind in all this. He threatens knight h3. I parry that. Yeah, knight takes d5. Now it gets a bit crazy. He has weakened g6. My queen is on that g file. He does sack the exchange, which is the sort of thing GMs do spectacularly to crush with knight f2. But there's one slight fly in the ointment here. Now knight f2 check. Queen takes f2. Hold on, let's have a look at this. There's a check here first. Well, it doesn't matter, even if there isn't. Yeah, there's a slight fly in the ointment here in his time pressure. So here, queen g7. Here. Oh, I was thinking queen g7. It's actually a mate in one with bishop takes h6.
Checkmate.
I was thinking this. and this, but it's not needed. In fact, unnecessary complications. Doesn't make with rook e8 check.
Check.
Oh, I can win the queen anyway. That okay. There's other ways of skinning the cat here. So anyway, I got a bit lucky there. I was on the receiving end against a 2-4-8-7 ITC auto pairing GM, which usually is the death sentence, but I got a bit lucky there. Okay, comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.